Is Khamzat Chimaev the real deal, or has the UFC hype machine pushed him too far too fast? With a questionable resume and serious concerns about cardio, UFC 319 might finally give us the answer. Dricus Du Plessis is no layup, and this could be the night Chimaev gets exposed. Josh Thompson casts serious doubt on the legitimacy of Khamzat Chimaev's unbeaten record, suggesting that his ascent in the UFC has been more about strategic matchmaking than proven dominance over elite competition. While Chimaev boasts a perfect 14-0 record, Thompson notes that many of his most high-profile victories came with major asterisks. Gilbert Burns gave Chimaev his toughest test to date, dropping him and pushing him to the brink in a brutal 3-round war. Thompson points out that since that fight, Burns has struggled to find consistent success, suggesting that one may not hold as much weight as it once did. Kevin Holland, while exciting and dangerous, has been notoriously inconsistent and was stylistically outmatched, especially given his lack of wrestling defense. Kamaru Usman took their middleweight fight on short notice and was moving up a division, far from his prime form and ideal conditions. Robert Whittaker, a former champion, came into their bout with a pre-existing injury and didn't look like the elite version of himself fans were used to. The critique here is that Chimaev's opponents were either compromised, unprepared, or already on the decline, meaning his impressive record may not be as telling as it seems. According to Thompson, these favorable circumstances have helped inflate Chimaev's reputation, and UFC 319 will be the first time he faces a truly prepared and informed top contender in Dricus Du Plessis, who's known for his cardio, toughness, and relentless pace. If you're enjoying this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to MMA Thread. We drop weekly breakdowns, hot takes, and honest analysis. No fluff, just real fight talk. One of the biggest red flags in Khamzat Chimaev's game, according to Josh Thompson, is his cardio and ability to endure adversity. While Chimaev has shown moments of brilliance in the early stages of fights, often overwhelming opponents with aggression and dominant wrestling, there are visible cracks when the fight drags into deeper waters. Thompson emphasizes that Chimaev is fantastic when he's fresh. He's explosive, powerful, and aggressive in round one. However, once opponents start pushing back or surviving the early onslaught, Chimaev's output and composure noticeably decline. A key example is his war with Gilbert Burns, where Chimaev was clearly fatigued by round 2, got dropped, and had to get out a decision win. A rare situation where he was no longer the dominant force in the octagon. This raises a critical question. What happens when Chimaev is no longer the hammer, but becomes the nail? Dricus Du Plessis, known for his unorthodox pace and durability, thrives in chaotic, drawn-out battles. He's the kind of fighter who can take damage, recover quickly, and push a pace that breaks less conditioned opponents. Thompson suggests that Chimaev might fold or break under that kind of sustained pressure, not because he lacks skills, but because he hasn't shown consistent mental or physical resilience in tough, late-fight scenarios. UFC 319 could expose that weakness if Du Plessis forces Chimaev into a grueling war rather than a quick finish. Josh Thompson brings up a critical narrative that's been floating around for years. Is Khamzat Chimaev truly elite, or is the UFC and fanbase projecting greatness onto him before he's earned it? Chimaev burst onto the UFC scene with 3 dominant wins in under 3 months, a feat that instantly made him a viral sensation. His intensity, wrestling pedigree, and undefeated record drew immediate comparisons to legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev, especially because of similar cultural and stylistic elements, Dagestani-style wrestling, stoic demeanor, Muslim identity, etc. But Thompson argues that these comparisons are misguided and premature. Khabib's greatness was proven over time, through years of dominance, never losing a round, and showing elite fight IQ, composure, and cardio. Islam Makhachev followed a similar path, building a strong resume before earning his title shot. In contrast, Chimaev's resume is relatively thin, with only a handful of notable wins, many of them with question marks. Thompson believes the Khabib effect has inflated Chimaev's status. Fans and analysts see the beard, the background, the wrestling, and assume he's the next unstoppable force. But stylistically and mentally, he's not Khabib, and hasn't shown the same level of control, gas tank, or composure under fire. This is why UFC 319 is being framed as a fraud check, a true litmus test to determine whether Chimaev is as good as the hype suggests, or whether he's been fast-tracked to stardom without fully proving himself against the top of the division. Dricus Du Plessis, a gritty, awkward, and relentless champion, may be the first fighter to truly test if Chimaev belongs at the elite level, or if he's simply been a well-packaged product of hype. What do you think? Is Chimaev championship material or just a well-marketed brawler? Drop your prediction for UFC 319 in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to MMA Thread for all your Fight Week coverage.